Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, The Real Super Sam. Today is a brand new top 5 video and I hope you enjoy. Good morning to one of the most special hashtag Spider-Man Sundays. Happy Easter everybody. Easter is one of my best holidays in my opinion. I hope everyone is having a good one. And it also this year comes on April Fool's Day. How about that? This must be a once in a lifetime experience. This video is also my 50th. Without support from viewers like you, I never could have made it. Thank you all so much. The Vulture. To many, he is as much as a part of Spider-Man's rogues gallery as Dr. Octopus or Lizard or Electro. There are Vulture stories, there are also good Spider-Man stories. I've put together my second top 5 stories list all about him. The movie Spider-Man Homecoming was great, but it wasn't comic book Vulture to me, and I don't think it was for many. I've reviewed his first appearance on my channel already. It wasn't ever going to be in the top 5 stories. So please, come travel with me back to a time where having the Vulture and Spider-Man 4 as the main villain would have been cooler than Venom or Dr. Octopus. Number 5. Everything you know is wrong. This is a single issue in the Superior Spider-Man comics run. Superior Spider-Man Issue 3 seems to be severely underlooked. Heck, the whole series does, but this one has a great issue for Vulture. Here, Superior Spider-Man, who is really Dr. Octopus, long story, is going after the Vulture. We see back when Doc Ock and the Vulture were in the Sinister Six, the Vulture revealed that all he wanted is one big score, but Spider-Man keeps getting in the way. The Vulture is using children as his minions to fly through the night robbing people. And Doc Ock has a big problem with that. At the end, the Vulture gets destroyed by Superior Spider-Man and almost killed. The Vulture wanting just one big score reminds me of Sandman in the Spectacular Spider-Man, which I enjoy. Vulture is in an obvious costume here, and it looks a bit silly, just having an old man flying. But this is the Vulture at his most creepiest, one of his most recent appearances even. The Vulture looks and acts like an animal here, and I really enjoy that. This is a great Superior Spider-Man comic also. I love how Doc Ock here shows to have a heart, but this is about the Vulture, and the flashback to the Sinister Six has a lot of nostalgia for me. If Doc Ock has a heart, and the Vulture doesn't, Toombs must be bad. Number 4. The Vengeance Gambit, Wings of Fire, Wings of Fear. This 2-issue story arc in Spectacular Spider-Man issue 44 through 45 has Vulture in his last half mostly, but here it definitely seems to change his character for future issues. This is a Vulture we have never seen before. He is more like the Kingpin than one of the other members of the Sinister Six. Here, instead of just attacking everyone, he plans and strategizes to become a new head of crime. The story is about a mysterious man who is sending people to go and steal things for him. Spider-Man is on the trail and finds that his old foe, the Vulture, is behind it all. The Vulture here is the smartest he's ever been, and he's ruthless against Spider-Man. Vulture using his smarts happens a lot in the comics. It's never as good as it is here. The Vulture is with his nephew, Malachi, who he shows a lot of love and care for, but his nephew gets killed by Black Alfred, a thug who is sick of Vulture being the boss. This is an issue that shows that the Vulture has a heart and cares for specific people, rarely, and shows his strategies. These are the best stories with Vulture, I think. And it didn't go well for Alfred here. This is the first Vulture story I ever read. It holds a place in my heart for Vulture history. It was a great way to introduce me to the character, and starting off had the perfect interpretation of Vulture in my opinion here. Number 3. Wings in the Night, The Vulture's Prey. An early adventure published in Amazing Spiderman 63 and 64, the Vulture meets his imposter, Blackie Drago. The Vulture breaks Blackie Drago out of prison to prove that he is the one and only Vulture. The fighting gets the attention of Spider-Man. When he arrives, Draco is already knocked out and it's a one-on-one between Spidey and the Vulture. This issue has the best fighting between Spider-Man and the Vulture I have ever seen. Fists and kicks everywhere, Vulture uses all of his tricks in this battle, definitely an essential Vulture story. The reason this is such a great Vulture story is the interactions the Vulture has with the characters, especially Draco, the imposter he was. Before this issue, the Vulture was presumed dead, and now out of nowhere the original Superior One returns like a ghost, more powerful than ever. He last fought Spider-Man in Annual 1, which he was when he was in the Sinister Six, 4 years ago. 4 years later he meets Spider-Man again, and it is not disappointing. This story has great imagery for the Vulture. I love how he looks more animal than human. It is a great fighting issue. If you love action with the classic Spider-Man and want to learn more about Vulture, then this is the highest recommended comic I have for you, but it isn't the best. Number 2. Let Fly These Aged Wings. A one-issue short in Amazing Spider-Man Issue 224 has the Vulture as we've never imagined him to become. In a retirement home, yes, the Vulture starting off here has accepted his age and seems done with the excitement of crime. But Aunt May's new boyfriend, Nathan Lubinsky, unintentionally inspires him once again, and the Vulture takes flight once more. As the first Amazing Spider-Man comic of the year 1982, bringing back an old Spider-Man villain to the series needed to be big. This is the issue that really shows and shocks me with the human side of Vulture. I am amazed he still has one. At the end, he grabs someone to make an escape. He realizes it's Nathan Lubinsky, and he stops hurting him and leaves. The Vulture does care about their people, and when shocking moments happen with him like this, it makes for some of his greatest moments. That's really all I have for Vulture in this comic, him making a friend and returning in an awesome story. It's a landmark issue for him, and is not to be missed if you enjoy the Vulture character. The issue also seems to be written with acknowledgement that he is getting older and can't be as strong or fast as he used to be, making it a bit more realistic. And now for the greatest Vulture story ever told. Number 1. Funeral Arrangements. The 3-issue story published in Spectacular Spider-Man 186 through 188 is hands down the greatest Vulture story ever, and has most of the last 4 stories' Vulture elements in it. The Vulture is dying, and he has one last thing to do, and that thing concerns May Parker. Since the Vulture is dying, he is settling old scores, and one is with Gregory Bestman, the man that stole his flight design and made millions off it. He confesses to him that he's dying of cancer because of the power pack he uses to fly and commit crimes just before he kills him. The Vulture catches up to Aunt May later and apologizes for killing Nathan Lubinsky. It is a shocking moment that I don't think anyone saw coming. Vulture eventually kidnaps Peter Parker and explains that he needs her forgiveness for him to die peacefully. It seems in this story Vulture really wants to do the right thing and ask for forgiveness and feels bad for some things he did. He's not a complete monster here, but he definitely kills and is brutal. At the end, there's a sad scene where the Vulture asks why Spider-Man just can't let him die, and Spider-Man says, "It's not gonna be that easy." Vulture is brought by Spider-Man to apologize to Aunt May about everything, and he does. And Aunt May turns savage, though understandably. It's kinda shocking to me since the Vulture seemed to actually mean it, and Aunt May just shut him down. So I think everyone agrees that this is the best Vulture story out there. There's a lot of character with the Vulture, even with there being lots of animalistic scenes also. Since the Vulture did all this for forgiveness, and at the end Aunt May visits him and tells him that the ultimate forgiveness is the only one that matters, is from God. Fitting for Easter Sunday, huh? Dang, and it also has a crazy Aunt May moment where she just slaps him. Vulture dying brings out his humanity side, but his past was just too great to avoid. Maybe Vulture could have been a normal nice old man, which is a question I think this and the last issue brought up well. He could be, but it just isn't in him anymore. The story, how it's written and drawn, reminds me strongly of Kraven's Last Hunt, which I guess it is just for the Vulture, classic Vulture. It's such a good story, which is why it's my number 1 pick, and you must read it yourself. The Vulture seems to disappear and reappear randomly in the comics, and that's perfect for a bird of prey. You never know when or where he'll come out and strike. I never really viewed Vulture as one of the top members of the Sinister Six or the Spider-Man villains that have and will be in the movies, but after making this list, I can't wait to talk more about the Vulture and see what writers have in store for him in the future. This is just my list, and I would love to hear your opinions down below. I know there are other great Vulture stories out there. There's one I haven't read, and two I felt weren't as good as another story that's on this list. Happy Easter, and I promise this is not an April Fool's Day joke. I would never do that. I hope you all enjoyed, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.